My name is Doug Constable. I've been involved with insolvency for over 30 years. I work in the area of helping people work through the issues associated with bankruptcy and liquidations. So I see my role as protecting my clients, not in any one particular area. I see also my role as being able to use my experience of 30 years in guiding people to stop them making the same mistakes over and over again in business. I see lots of times where people just want to ask what it's like to go through bankruptcies and insolvencies, and to help them and reassure them that you can come out the other side and you can continue to grow, and it's not the end of the world, it's really the start of a new beginning. And to look at it as that, for them to finalise the negative side of their financial affairs as quickly and as abruptly as possible so that they can move forward, and to not use and not have the financial troubles that they're going through affect other areas of their life. I see that as my role. I love it because I feel like I'm helping people in a way that a lot of others can't. Without disrespect to anyone else, I can help them because I have, and a lot of my staff have been in the same situation as they have. And so I feel the same emotions they have, and the sleepless nights of how do you tell your partner, of what do I do in the future, how do I handle one of the people from in the authorities talking to me. That's where I see my role in not doing it, not being a solicitor, not being an accountant, not being a trustee. I see it more just supporting and helping them through the process for an end result. That's a question in my industry I think I face every day with a lot of my clients, is that they've either gone bankrupt or liquidation, or they're knee deep in debt and they're looking for the way out, and quite often they can't just really see any alternative, and it takes someone from outside to look at what they're doing and look at it objectively with how they're going to go forward. So the answer to me always is yes, life's worth living. What we need to do is sort of draw our line in our sand and look at it and say, all right, whatever's happened in the past has happened, and let's not try to chase to get back to where we were. It's how do we best move forward? And so we draw this line in the sand and say, all right, now for the rest of my life, what do I want to achieve for the rest of my life in business, or how do I want to make an income? And when we start to look at that, we stop looking in the doldrums, if you like, and is life worth living? And we start to say, well, hey, my life is worth living. With clients that are facing bankruptcy or in bankruptcy and in insolvency liquidations, quite often they're so set on the embarrassment or the awkwardness of it, or they're ashamed. They don't want to tell their employees that have been loyal to them that they can no longer work for them. Those types of things play very much on their emotions, and they quite often they don't feel like they can talk it over with their partner because they've got this idea of respect. And so it's a very real thing that they say, is life worth living? You know, how do I get through this? It's ruined my entire life. Now, I've been through those same feelings myself, and I can tell you, you're coming up the other side, and you're coming up the other side a lot stronger. And hopefully the experience will allow you not to make the same mistakes again. And the problem isn't making the mistake that caused it. The problem is repeating that mistake over and over and over again. And to coming up the other side and to prosper and grow, we need to start looking at what the rest of our life's going to be like and focusing on that. We need to handle the situation we've got. And even if that's walking away with absolutely nothing, we need to handle it and then decide what we're going to do again. And that takes a shift in mental attitude and how we look at things. And that's one of the most important things I think that we can do, is to objectively, with a third party that can look outside and not just focus on these are the problems. That's one of the first steps that we can do in going forward. One of the things I find with this, with the coronavirus that's happened, is that when I talk to businesses, so much of their time now has been spent on how do they collect the money that's outstanding. And of course they're spending all their time ringing up people to collect the outstanding invoices, and the people they're talking to haven't got the money because they're ringing up people. So all this time is spent, and then we live in a little bit of hope that because some people will say, oh, we'll pay you Friday. Now, so we live in the hope that, we can get through to Friday, and we live in that hope for the whole week. And come Friday, when we don't get paid, well, then we start ringing again. And so much time is being spent on that, collecting the money, because that's how we see that we can get the immediate income. Hopefully with the government grants and with everything, but we're able to spend some time on what sort of business or what sort of life do we want to have post, because the businesses that will succeed will be the ones that can take this epidemic, or take this pandemic and what has happened in business and learn to grow from it. Now, whether that be gearing up technology-wise, having staff work from home, doing more digital marketing, that type of thing, depends on the business and the industry. So what I find in my industry, because I've got a fairly diverse range of clients, is that there are many ways that we can market, whether it be a coffee shop, whether it be a large business, whether it be a shoe store, whatever. There's many different ways that we can market. That can we think about how we're going to generate business in the future. And I just see it in some businesses where they spend so much time chasing the dollar that they're not spending any time on what sort of business am I going to have in the future. And one of the things I think that has happened, the government's done a tremendous job with their grants and that type of thing, but the haste in which they had to roll it out to get to the people and provide the grants has caused some glitches in their system. And the delays in getting the grants to some of the people is causing a lot of anguish and mental health. But of course, they basically did it in 3 weeks. Can't be criticised for that, but that's unfortunately what has happened, that people are spending a lot of time on, how do I get the grant, what have I got to do? And a lot of the phone calls that accountants are getting relate to what have I got to do to get the grant and how do I do it, and that type of thing. And that's a little bit of a shame, but the end result is that the companies that are entitled to the grants will get them, and hopefully that will help them along the way.